Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to SuttyTrades. If you've never been here before, then welcome for the first time. I just wanted to do a really interesting little video based on the My Forex Funds. So recently I found on their blog they have a whole lot of statistics based around people that are taking their challenges, people that have passed, people that are in. And I think they only started this last year, October. So I think it was October, November, were the last lot of stats that they sent. So I just wanted to go through these with you just to put into perspective how tough these challenges actually are, and how important risk management is, and sticking to a set strategy. But it's just something that I wanted to put out there, not kind of as a I have an excuse if I fail, or it's not about that. It's just more for everyone else taking it. If I've influenced anyone to take it and they're finding it tough, you're not the only one, right? You're not the only one. It is tough, but going through these stats, what I can do is I can show you the kind of things you need to think about, or we can talk about the kind of things you need to think about that will assist or help you in potentially passing and holding. And that's one of the most important things, and I think people don't think about that, is if you do pass and you do get through, what is your plan thereafter? Because if you fail or you go against any of their rules, even when you're on a live account, you will lose that account. And that's one of the things that I want to show you as well. So it's not only about passing, guys, it's about passing and then maintaining that account or holding onto that account as long as you possibly can. So let me quickly jump over to this. Okay, so this is, I'm just gonna every now and then look back. I've got a trade open, guys. It's actually going nicely. We entered over there, push up. It is basically, we are looking at a change in a very, very strong trend, downwards trend, as you can see, guys. So we are hopefully catching the bottom of that, but there is 3 bull news coming up. Sorry, I'm completely going off this. But this again, it kind of ties into the video about making sure that you are, every trade is different, right? And it's fine to stick to your rules and stuff, that's fine, but monitor every trade and make decisions based on that. So for me, ideally, I would like to close out 50% at 2, but because we have high volatility news that might help us, or might, you just never know. But I would rather, I'm looking at hopefully getting to 1 to 1, which we're close to. I'm going to close 50% at 1 to 1, and then I'm just going to leave it to either get to TP5 or it will basically just take our profit at a loss. But I'm hoping we do actually get to the TP1 even. Anyway, back to here. Yeah, so here we go, guys. This was released in December. They haven't done another one yet, but let's go through these stats. It's really, really interesting, and me in particular, seeing these stats recently was like also a bit of an eye-opener for me. You have this kind of impression that everyone that passes is well done, that's so cool, you've got a live account now, but it's not quite as simple as that. Okay, so here we go, guys. So let's have a look. These were the stats October and November. So new live accounts in October, 3,544. So quite a lot of new accounts, and this is something we need to keep that in mind, because when you come to some of the other stats, it'll be quite surprising. Total amount paid out was 1.4 million. Let's look at these between the two. Okay, so in October, new accounts, 3,500. In November, 5,700, right? So a lot more new accounts in November. So that kind of bounces off the end of this. So past phase 1, past phase 2, 31%, 18% and 31%. Okay, so these guys that started this obviously went over into November, and they were the ones that affected these live accounts, I imagine, right? But anyway, Most traded pair is gold. Most profitable pair is GBP AUD. In November, most traded pair again is gold. So people seem to like gold. Least, again, okay, so most profitable was also gold. That's interesting. Then least profitable for both months, GBP JPY. You know, for me, it's funny. I think that's one of my least profitable pairs as well. Very interesting. Let's go back to this quickly. Oh, hold on, guys. I just need to quickly check. Okay, we're getting close to closing that. So, sorry, I'll just I'll have to keep jumping backwards and forwards here, guys, because I want to make sure I don't miss it. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so where were we? Okay, past of that many people, only 18% of people passed the first phase, and then of those 18%, only 31% passed the second phase. Okay, so it's not very many people of that 3,500 guys. And then this is also really interesting. Of the people that passed, only 4% actually reached their a profit split, which means they got to a point where they could actually take money out. The rest of people that passed and actually got a live account didn't either lost or didn't get any profit, so they were still sitting under. That's really interesting, guys. So so it says the pass rate was particularly high this month. So they're saying a pass rate of 18% is actually high. That's interesting. Okay, so let's look at November. Pass rate, the pass of the first phase was only 10%. Pass phase 2. I would love to see also in these stats, I would actually love to see how many people got the free retake and how many people actually outright failed. So I'd love to see 2 more stats. My Forex Funds, if you're watching this, please add those stats. You're not shouting anyone out because it's just a stat, so it doesn't matter. I would love to see how many percent get free retake and how many percent actually fail. Phase 2, 24% of the traders who passed phase 1. And then again, look at this, guys. People who reached their profit split was only 3%. Only 3%, right? Okay, so let's have a look at some of these stats over here, guys. Some takeaways from our trading data. Over 60% of traders in our database do not use stop loss and have a high risk of ruin. That's crazy. 60% are not using stop losses. Why? Why would you not use it? Okay, that's going back down. Let's hope we have a bounce back up. Why would you not have a stop loss? I mean, I myself have taken challenges in the past where I have used strategies where the strategies themselves do not have stop losses, and those are the only times that I have just like full on, without a doubt, just flunked the challenges like properly, like going down to like and that is, you know, I think there's very few people that can make it work. I do follow a couple guys on YouTube that do not use stops, but they still have mental stops and they're always in front of the screen. There's a difference between not having a stop and kind of just leaving the trade to run, or not having a stop but being there with your thing and you have a mental stop and you understand what you're risking. That's different, and I do follow a few guys that do that, and they're very profitable. And it's maybe because of that they're profitable, but not many people can do that. You've got to have a mental stop and you've got to know when to pull out. But that is very, very interesting, guys. If you are not having a stop, you're just risking too much, man. Because what's going to end up happening is you think the trade's going to go your way. You keep thinking it's going to go your way. It never does. Eventually, you have to cut it off. Like you've got in your mind, right? 5%. If I go over 5% for the day, then I'm out. So you're watching where you get to like 4, and then you're like, it's going to turn, and then eventually, like, you have to cut it. After you cut it, then it turns, and then you're like, oh man, and your psychology, it hits you, and all that ends up happening is you will just keep losing more than you win, because guarantee these guys will have a profit target, right? Now you would have a profit target. So let's say you're starting there, your profit target is here, but you have no stop. Goes, you're like, it's going to turn, it's oh shit, I have to cut it. You've now lost that much versus your profit that much, right? And if that happens all the time, or even, you know, a certain percentage of the time, you're kind of flipping the whole point of having a good risk management strategy on its head, where your risk to reward, your loss is always higher than your win. So, you know, it's a sure way to make sure that over the long term you're always losing more. And the whole point of a good risk management strategy is to make sure over the long period you're getting more, you're gaining more, right? So that is a very, very interesting one, guys. Wow, that's dropped big time. Let's hope that turns around. I'm hoping it's coming back down just to tap into a. So this is. Let me have a quick look. So we'll go back to the stats now, guys. Coming back to tap into this again. Let's see. We want to make sure we break this. I'm just going to mark this. I want to make sure we break this high with the next push up. Otherwise, I might just. Well, that probably will hit my TP1 anyway. All right, back to the video. Okay, what's the next thing? The traders who have made it to their fourth pay cycle all have a risk management strategy of below 3% risk on any given day. So there we go. There we go again, guys. It's tapping into that whole thing of risk management, right? Profitable traders are the ones that understand risk and how to manage risk. Because sometimes it's not all about. Yes, it is about a profitable strategy, but it's understanding that strategy and how that is going to pay you in the long run, right? And the way that a profitable strategy pays you in the long run is through risk management. It's for me, almost the most important aspect is the risk management. Yes, find a good strategy, but then manage it, your risk. So don't trade, especially on these challenges, don't risk 2% per trade, you know, because you're basically giving, and especially if you don't have a stop, that quickly can be, you know, that's only, what is it? You can go to 5% under like that. And the thing with market is you can be in a trade and you've not taken note of some news event, or there's a news event that, you know, that isn't thingy, something happens and there's a spike, you know, and it can happen it can just happen so quickly that you would rather have a stop than go to, because let's say with these guys, the thing is you've got to understand, even if it taps down below the 5%, then it comes back up and you end up taking your profit at TP1, TP2, you're still going to fail. You're going to fail because at that point when the drawdown was lower than the 5%, that's what they look at. The second your drawdown, even on an open trade, goes below 5%, you're done. So it's not worth it, man. It really isn't. If you have like $100 live account, then go ahead, do whatever you want. But on these, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, let's see what else they got. The profitable traders are in the market less than 4 hours per day. So this again just comes into that whole thing of over trading, right? People who overtrade generally will lose. So, you know, hit your profit target, or have a set amount. Like for me, I have a set amount of trades that I'm willing based on my risk. If I lose X amount, I'm done. I'm out for the day. For me, if I lose 6 trades in a row, I'm still only losing 2% of the account. So that's worst case scenario for me. 6 losses in a day, then I'm done. So make sure, guys, that you are not over trading. Most profitable traders do not hold trades overnight. You know, for me, I sometimes will have trades overnight. The thing for me is my trades that go overnight, I've generally already taken my 50%. So those trades that do go overnight, I'm comfortable to just let them run because I've already taken profit, and even if it stops me out, I'll either lose nothing or still have a small gain. So it makes sense, right? If you are not taking anything off the table and you're going to sleep overnight with those, that's risky. A trader who holds trades over the weekend has a 60% higher chance of failing or losing their account. It makes sense, you know, because over the weekend there can be big moves, or just like, you know, It's not. I generally will never have a trade over the weekend. It just doesn't make sense. All right, sorry, just checking on that. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to hold unless you are a swing. I mean, a swing trader or a long-term trader, which for these challenges, you know, you can then only trade like a few trades in the whole month. So you've got to be sure of your strategy. It would only make sense for someone who's a longer-term trader. What else we got? When the market is more volatile, more traders fail because of a lack of risk management discipline. Yeah, exactly the same thing, guys. A lot of this is just coming down to risk management, right? So if the market is volatile, you've got to make sure you understand that it's volatile and you see that it's volatile and risk accordingly. Which means, like, let's say you would normally take a 2.5 pip stop, right? That's kind of, you stick to that. If the market is extremely volatile and a 2.5 pip stop is taken like just with one wick, then think about risking the same amount. So you would normally risk your, let's say 0.5%, and your stop is 2.5. So now move your stop. Like if it's very choppy, increase your stop to 5, even 6, 7, 8, whatever. Bigger stop than you would normally do. But for that stop, you're still risking the 0.5%, right? So yeah, it's a much bigger move, but your risk doesn't change. And that's very important, making sure that your risk per stop is always the same. Don't always risk 0.2 lots, you know? It doesn't make sense to risk a percentage based on your stop. Where were we? If volatility is prolonged, it is a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath of epic proportions. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Why trade in extremely volatile market unless you know how, unless that is part of your strategy? Pick a pair that's not extremely volatile. Okay, we're coming back there. Sorry, I just keep switching back and over. What else we got? There are 5 traders who are on their 8th payout on evaluation live accounts. That's crazy. So of all, what, 5,718, there are only 5 traders who are on their 8th payout. So they've had their account for more than 8 months, right? That's crazy. Shh, hey, I know, even he's like, whoa, that's crazy. Hey, dude, yeah, cool. 5 traders. That's nuts, and that's what I was talking about before. How important it is to hold on to your account. So I think the most you're ever targeting, which is the 8% for your first phase, is probably the max you should ever target, right? If you have a very good starting month, then go for the 10%. But for me, I would only ever risk about 8% for the month, and as soon as I hit that, I'm done for the month. I'm not going to risk more. So don't push for don't be greedy and push for max numbers, because it's just too risky. What's the next one? All of them trade conservatively and make sure they get paid. None of them risk more than 2% per trading day. Exactly the same with me. If my max loss would be 2%. And they stop when they have reached exactly what I was just saying, 4 to 8%. So the guys that still hold their account are the guys that know when to stop, right? Once they've reached 4 to 8%, they call it, and then they basically take their profit split on that, and then they live to trade another month. What else? I think that's really important, guys. Don't be greedy, because at the end of the day, you could have a fantastic month where you risk loads and you make 20% in a month, right? Let's say you're on a $100,000 account, you make $20,000, which is fantastic, right? Then the very next month you lose your account and you don't pass it for the rest of the year. You've made your $20,000, which is great, but let's take that over someone who has passed their $100,000. They're getting 5%, $5,000 every month, and they have that consistently for 2 years, right? Over 2 years, $5,000 a month. You're making over $100,000. Would you rather make the $100,000 over a longer period, or $20,000 in one pop, but never actually get back into the game? I'd rather do it long term, because then it becomes, then you can make it a career, you can make it a sustainable lifestyle where you are consistently pulling a similar amount out. And not only that, is the more consistent you are over a longer period of time, they will keep increasing your account size. So it doesn't make sense to risk too much. What is the next one? That one. All traders who received record payouts have lost their accounts within 3 weeks of the record payout due to excessive risk. Well, there you go, exactly what I'm saying. The people that have got those record payouts, and the ones that I've said before are shouting it out on Instagram, are the ones that lose their account the very next month. So is it worth it, guys? I don't think so. It's not worth it, right? Why, would you rather be the guy that has that shout out on Instagram about, making a record payment, but then you can never say anything thereafter because you just, it's like a one-off, like a one-hit wonder. I'd rather have the longevity. There are many more fun facts about the traders in our database, and as we grow, more of those facts are coming to light. Our advice is to take it easy when you reach live. Many people seem to be unable to control their greed emotions. There we go, guys. It's greed. It's wanting more that actually gives you less. Make sure you get paid and keep your risk as low as possible. After all, it's a marathon, not a sprint. There we go. It's all about long term, guys. This is for the long term. You'd rather be in this for 5, 10, 15 years rather than fighting every single year. Small gain, bigger loss. Small gain, bigger loss. There's no point doing that, guys. Okay, we're pushing up now nicely. I hope we can get to there so I can just close 50%. These are the riskiest parts, or the most stressful parts of the trades. Is just trying to get to that 50%, which is where 50% I want to close out is there. So we have to break this high. And if we do break that high, it might actually make sense to just hold on until potentially the 2. Because if we can get to this break of structure over there, it's about 1.8. So maybe that's what I should target. Anyway, back to the video, guys. So, it's really interesting seeing all these stats, guys. And I suppose, number one points out how important risk management is. I would say, if anything, that was the one thing that came to light more than anything else. Risk management. It doesn't matter what strategy you have, because there's so many strategies that are potentially profitable. What makes them profitable is how you manage your risk and how you manage the trades. So don't be greedy, guys. I hope that's kind of like, if any of you guys are thinking of taking it or are taking it and had a tough time, you're not the only one, guys. It's tough. These challenges are very tough, okay? And it's just you just got to stick to a plan. Even me, I'm struggling to stick 100% to my plan. I feel like my risk management is okay. I've just got to stick to my rules a little bit better. We're getting there. But I hope this kind of helped you guys a little bit. Very interesting, guys. If you want to see more of these kind of videos where I'm not actually, I was popping backwards and forwards to a trade, then just let me know. I can look at things like this, doing little side videos where there's more stats based, more based on psychology, risk management, that kind of stuff, and how important these things are in trading. Just give me a shout. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna pop back to my trade and hope we can get our 50% on the table, and then I can just chill for the day. Anyway, bye for now, guys. I hope you guys have a good day, and we will see you soon.